What is up, guys? Welcome to a new video, and today we're here for some more Gamescom 2017 stuff. And today we're going to go ahead and talk about Need for Speed Payback, but more specifically the physics. Quite easily the most requested topic about this game. You know, what are the physics like? Are the physics improved from 2015? I'm just going to give my thoughts on it, let you guys know what I think of the physics and what I played. I only played the M5 race that you saw that I uploaded on my channel. I played that, and then I also played the Highway Heist, which you saw at E3. So I'm gonna give my kind of my stance on it from what I've played so far. I played around like an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of game time on those two demos. So I've played a lot of it now. I feel like I can give a accurate opinion on what I think of the two things, and hopefully, you know, give you guys a bit of insight on what it was like to play Need for Speed Payback. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into this video. Now, one thing I want to say before we go straight into the topic and delve deep into the actual physics themselves is obviously things can change. We're a few months away from the game being out, so tweaks can be made. So the cars that were given to us as well were preset tunes. You know, we didn't get to tune the cars in game, so obviously there's going to be a bit of difference there, and you know what it is. We don't know what performance parts are in the car. We don't know what NOS kind of is in the car, all that kind of stuff. So just keep that in mind while I'm going through all this. This isn't the final game. We don't know the performance parts and stuff. I'm just going off what I know. So to keep this nice and short and sweet, I personally believe Payback's physics are what 2015 should have been. 2015, but completely fixed. Cars will no longer drag to the side like they did before. You're not really going to get any of those weird issues where it's going to be hard to kind of flick your car one way, then flick it another way. It's very easy, very smooth, and you'll be able to, you know, drive in the cities. You know, you'll be able to do all that without cars dragging to the side and not doing things that you want them to do. Now, the version I played was the BMW M5 demo. That's kind of what I'm basing most of this off, and brake to drift was on. Now, again, we don't really know if you can turn this off. We don't know if that's going to be a tuning option, but when I played it, brake to drift was on. Now, for me personally, that's not too much of an issue. I didn't really mind Hop Shoot 2010. I didn't mind 2015's brake to drift. So for me personally, my personal opinion, it wasn't too bad. Now, obviously, that's not to everyone's taste. If you are looking for a black box physics model, this is not the game for you. I would recommend look at something like maybe the Crew 2. But from what I've played, again, you might be able to turn this off in the full game. But from what I've played so far, with the M5, brake to drift was on, and it was quite prominent, especially in the kind of outer areas. Now, that is not a bad thing. A lot of people take that the wrong way. For me, brake to drift has never really been a problem. It's one of those things, like I said, it's easy to pick up, hard to master. We were doing like a little time attack challenge, me and a few of the YouTubers, GTA Wise Guy, Tomcat. We were doing like a few challenges and time attack challenges, and we soon found out that there is definitely a skill gap in this game. Robin was spanking all of us. He was getting like 151s, and everyone else was getting like 155s. So there's definitely a skill gap there. It's one of those things that's easy to pick up, hard to master. Little things like when you're on the exit of a drift, if you time the NOS correctly, you can get a huge boost coming out of a drift and coming out of a corner, and that can really be a night or day difference in competitive multiplayer if you were to go ahead and take that into competitive multiplayer. The cars feel a hell of a lot heavier in this game. That's one thing I noticed. Now, obviously, the M5 is kind of like a German muscle car if you think about it in that way, so it's kind of to be expected with the M5, and same with the Mustang as well. But they're a lot heavier in this game, which I personally think is a good thing. They don't really feel like they're on rails anymore. I had a lot of issues in the last game where if I was going straight, I couldn't really turn left and go around a traffic car, otherwise the physics would just fuck up and I'd just go into a wall. That's not really the same anymore. You can actually control your cars when you're weaving through traffic, and you know, you don't have to drift to weave through traffic. You can just go straight through them, and that's not a problem. Now, like I said, I also did play the Highway Heist, and I've got to say the gameplay and the physics were completely different. So I'm not saying completely different from like a structural standpoint, but more from a tune standpoint. I could tell that Mustang had such a front end bias in terms of the brake bias. I kind of realized that from how much I played of Need for Speed 2015. The car had a real big front brake bias. So when you pressed LT, the car would swing out, kind of similar to how it would in the last game if you had a full brake bias. So there's definitely some type of element of tuning in there, which I obviously noticed from the Mustang to the M5. There was a huge difference between the car, and the car wouldn't, with the M5, it wouldn't drift out as much as the Mustang was. The Mustang was a bit easier to play around with, a lot easier to drift into corners, but yeah, obviously that depends on your tune as well. And then one little thing which doesn't really relate to physics, but I'm going to mention this anyway in this video, is the NOS, the actual NOS itself, regens when you near miss, when you're in the oncoming, and I think when you were drafting as well. I think those were the three main things. I may have missed a few, but in our build we played at Gamescom, that's why it was. You can tell a significant difference between this this and 2015. Once you actually get your hands on it, you can, you know, you'll know what it means. It's really hard to see through video, but once you actually get your hands on it and play it, it's, you know, there's a night and day difference. I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, they're completely different and, you know, like, they're like, it's not the same handling model. There's definitely similarities between the two, because of course there's going to be, it's the same developer, but the difference between 2015 and Payback is night and day. And, you know, I've got a feeling if you even remotely enjoyed the last game, in terms of how the physics were, you know, minus all the bugs, you're really going to enjoy this physics model. For me, in my opinion, I think this is going to be great. I think it's perfect. I think it's exactly what I wanted from the last game, but, you know, obviously we had a little bugs in the last game. This is exactly what I've wanted. You know, a lot of the problems which the last game suffered from, Rivals did as well. You know, little issues like the car dragging to the side was a thing that was in Rivals, and like, yeah, it's basically what it should have been in the last game. I personally really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to play more of it, especially with higher end cars and lower end cars, and, you know, seeing what it's like across the board. It's one of those things, just because the car is a bit more heavy and just because brake drift is in the game doesn't mean you can't weave through traffic, take certain lines, etc. It's definitely yeah, it's definitely a good thing. It's a lot improved, and you'll definitely be able to see that when you get your hands on the game in November. But that's been it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit like, subscribe. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and I will try to get them answered down there. But that's been it from me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to go ahead and hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys have an awesome, stay safe, and peace.